So we're seeing large-scale protests erupting inside of Gaza. People chanting, "Down with Hamas, we've had enough with Hamas, we want peace." There have been some calls for the release of hostages and people saying that Hamas need to step down from ruling Gaza. Here, have a look at some of these clips. But I want to talk about the perspective that it's important to have when looking at this and understanding this and digesting this. Let's first have a watch. There's clearly a lot of people getting involved here. I mean, look, if you look, I'm just scrolling through it quickly. There's just a few clips. As you can also see here, there's a white flag being flown. And here's one also where you can see with subtitles.
برا برا حماس تطلع برا من أمام مستشفى الأندونيسي كما تشاهدون شمال قطاع غزة. الناس انهكتها الحرب ولم ينظر إليهم أحد كما تشاهدون. شعب غزة لا يريد الحروب كما تشاهدون. الناس عامة الناس تسأل عن أنس شريف مراسل قناة الجزيرة. عامة الشعب لا يريد قناة الجزيرة. ها هم كما تشاهدون.
So there's a lot to unpack here and think about how we make sense of this. First of all, I note how the chants were saying they called Hamas a terrorist. That's what one of the chants were. Amazing how people inside of Gaza can say that, but the BBC seem unable to do that, or they always qualify it by saying, well, the government call them terrorists, but they don't. They call them militants or whatever. The first thing is, we don't know how representative this is of the Gazan population. It may well be, but it may not be. Secondly, the fact that they have, after many, many months of war, gotten tired, and now they're just like they don't want to see this war carry on anymore because they recognize that they're losing. Fine. Yeah, you're losing, and it's not working, this war, this campaign of attempted annihilation. Maybe some of these people of Israel, maybe some of these people there never wanted that in the first place. We know a lot of Gazans did. The fact is that, okay, you've chosen peace. Is there anything noble in that, in saying we want to stop fighting? It's simply people realizing they're losing. And that's what happens in war. When you realize that you're losing, then you have to surrender. And people say, oh, wow, look how incredible they are. They're rising up against their people. This is just basic self-interest. Again, there may be some people there that are well-intentioned. But I am more of the view that this is far more just about self-interest at this point, given what we saw happen straight away in the aftermath of October 7th, when the people of Gaza may have thought that they could be winning, that they're on the up. This was their reaction. This was the lack of protest against Hamas on October 7th. Inside of Gaza, when they're busy spitting on bodies, hitting Israeli bodies with sticks, parading them on the streets while chanting Allah Hu Akbar. Anyone that wants to say there isn't cultural widespread Jew hatred that exists there and support for what Hamas did on October 7th is simply delusional. Here's a Palestinian mother celebrating on October 7th. We've seen from polling that there's widespread support for what happened on when taken last year. Uninvolved Gazan civilians they talk about. And this I found particularly poignant. I've been making this point quite a bit. In Nazi Germany, some Germans saved the lives of innocent Jews. As far as we know, not a single Palestinian in Gaza saved a hostage. Not one. So, why am I saying all of this? It's simply because we need to appreciate that it can't simply be, even if, let's just say, there's now a majority of Gazans who say we want peace. There absolutely cannot be, well, we'll just, okay, now we can just return to the status quo. I'm saying even if Hamas get toppled, let's understand what happened. Israel evacuates Gaza, say, go ahead, let's see what two-state solution could look like. You run Gaza. Hamas get elected. They create a society based on terrorism, anti-Semitism, death cult ideology. They launch this war. Celebrations erupt in Gaza. Israel fights back. And then, when Israel's now clearly winning and they didn't get their dream of the Al-Quds flood, what happens is the people are saying, oh no, we want peace, we want peace. Again, some of them may be well-intentioned. A lot of them, I think, are just self-interested. In any sane world, and I know other countries would do this, you say, fine, but you've still lost, and now you have to pay the price. And that may well have to be, you have to leave. Because Israel cannot risk, when it's been dealing with a culture that has for 100 years chosen Jew hatred in its leadership, in its schools, in its institutions. Israel can't take any risk. Can't trust anything they say. In thinking, yeah, we can just go back to the status quo. You tried to kill us, we won, now you have to face the consequences. There's this, in my mind, this delusional thinking that says, no, we can still dream and hope of this Palestinian state. The problem with that is that the whole concept of the Palestinian state is only and solely based on Jew hatred, on getting rid of Israel. It's not based on a genuine desire for peace. It's not based on a genuine national identity. Many people in Gaza have the surname al-Masri, which means Egyptian. If all the Jews in Israel converted to Islam overnight, God forbid, they would drop down their weapons, drop down the Palestinian cause, which proves it's not a national cause. It's about religious, political Islam. So, fine. Let's say there is a tide turning in Gaza. Fine, okay. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be consequences that they now have to face. Hopefully it can mean an end to the fighting. But it can't mean Israel just returns to the status quo. Part of the reason we see these shifts is because I think actually what's respected in the Arab world is strength. The winners, the winning side. That's what's given a lot of respect. When Netanyahu got rid of Nasrallah, there was all these memes and videos celebrating Netanyahu. They respect strength. They respected the strength of Hamas when what they did in October 7. Now they see that they're losing. Well, not so much respect anymore. Which is why I've said over and over again, the two things they respect in the Arab world that Israel needs to realize and tap into is uncompromising strength and people that do what they do by invoking the name of God. If Israel did those two things, counterintuitively, it would actually produce peace. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.